Will Darvin Ham be fired, and should he be fired?
I would have guessed so, Skip. It's starting to become too loud. It's starting to become too much. The things that he's known for, being a motivator, being a great defensive coach, are the things the Lakers are struggling with the most right now. And again, I hate always going back to this because it's frustrating and it gets old, and I hate hearing myself say it. But I hate the play-in effort because you gave such great effort then and you showed what you're capable of, and which makes every single loss and every single performance where they're underwhelming and they're underachieving and they're giving bad effort even more frustrating because we saw what it looks like when you care. So now it just makes you feel like they don't care, and they don't care week after week after week, game after game after game, and it's frustrating as a fan to watch it because you saw what they could be. You saw how great they could be and how well coached they could be, how good they could be defensively, how good they could be offensively. And then you see this, you see wide open shot after wide open shot. You see lack of effort on offense, on defense. Shot making isn't there. So I just can't see him being there much longer. But, I mean, what are you going to do? The coach isn't going to go out there and play either way. The coach isn't out there shooting the shots or playing defense or not playing defense. So I don't think changing the coach changes anything unless you change the players. But changing the players don't do anything because players come in and play worse for the Lakers.
Yeah. No, he shouldn't be fired, Skip. No, he shouldn't be. You think about it, about a month or so ago, the conversation came up, the same conversation. Should he be fired? Because they came out of the in-season tournament and it didn't look good. I think they got ran out the building several times by several different teams.
At Philly, they lost by 44.
At Philly.
At Oklahoma City, they lost by 23. Go ahead.
So then they got loud. But then they started playing better. All of a sudden, they went on like a nice little magical carpet run, and they were 14-9 since coming out of the in-season tournament. So now you look at it and you say to yourself, okay, they played these last couple nights without Anthony Davis in the lineup. Defensively, yes.
Just one. I mean, he was in and out the lineup the game before.
The game before in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at what they are supposed to be. They're supposed to be a defensive somewhat unit with some scorers that could score in LeBron and Reeves and AD and company. They had a head coach who was a defensive coach who won a championship that they fired to get another coach from the Milwaukee Bucks that was an assistant with no head coaching experience that was supposed to be a defensive stopper. I don't understand. Now you want to get rid of the dude again, this guy, to go get what? What are you going to get? As far as LeBron...
By the way, the bubble team was number one in defense when they won the championship.
Exactly.
Number one.
So when you think about that, Skip, as number one defensive unit, now we complaining that they're giving up too many goods every other night to the opponents. Now we want to part ways with Darvin Ham because, we getting up on the All-Star break, so this is a perfect opportunity, a perfect time.
It's coming up. It's seven games away.
7 games away to move on from this guy to hire who? Who you going to hire? Who you going to go get Doc Rivers out of TV? Well, you can't do that. The Bucks did that already. You're going to get Ty Lue. Ty Lue's on the team that's in your building, written from you, that's rolling right now. So when you start to look at it, this is the best situation. Ride it through. As far as LeBron and his tweet, all he's saying is we are running out of time and we need to get going. And it's not about LeBron at age 39 years old. If you go back and you look, it's the same player from 10 years ago, man. In fact, his three-point percentage is up from 10 years ago. That was a big deal, right? Oh, he can't shoot the threes.
Yeah,
it's up slightly.
Okay,
it's up
just
slightly.
A quick point of order. Over the last 2 nights, LeBron is 7 out of 17 from the free throw line. That's horrendous. You know and I know that's just wrong.
Yeah, he's got to shoot better.
He can be better than that.
He's got to shoot better from. He's got to shoot better from the free throw.
Yeah.
But when you look at him as an individual, I mean, he can't carry every team. Although Reeves had, what did Reeves have? 29 last night?
Yeah.
28, 29 last night. Everybody's got to chip in.
Yep.
That's all. Don't start to panic just yet. Just, we'll be okay. I think we'll be fine.
Richard, do you have any fine left in you? Anything?
No.
No,
Skip.
No. Okay. All right. Allow me to say, I personally like Darvin Ham a lot. I think he's a good man, and he's done a lot of good things as a very young head coach. Just for the record, I'm going to remind everybody that just at the end of last season, they got to the Western Conference Finals in his first year as a head coach. And they took the eventual champion Denver Nuggets to the wire 4 straight times. They were right there all 4 times going into the fourth quarter. LeBron wasn't very good, but you can also put it on everybody that nobody was very good except for Austin Reeves. When he got his chances, he was pretty good. But over those 4 fourth quarters, LeBron shot 7 of 23, and he shot 1 of 10 from 3. And in that closeout game here in L.A., LeBron had 2 shots at the end of the game to tie the game and missed the rim with both shots. The second one got blocked before he could get it up to the rim. But my point is, you saw a team that was very well coached as it blew through Memphis in a round, blew through Golden State, had chances against the Denver Nuggets. And then to Richard's point, it was an indictment of him and them and who they can be when they just blew right through the in-season tournament for what that's worth. I don't know how seriously anybody else took it, but LeBron took it very seriously, and they won, 7 games?
Yeah, but those games, tournament. As you know, I don't mean to cut you off, Skip, but as you know, those games are not back-to-back. They're spread out over the course of the season, and then they put them together. It's like in-season tournament.
At the end, they put them together, and then you had your playoff games against Phoenix at home, and then you got the Pelicans in Las Vegas, and then you got the Pacers in Las Vegas, but you dominated all those games. You looked like a potential championship basketball team, and you not only won the whatever it's called, the cup, and you raised the banner. And Richard was not good with raising the banner. You were okay with it, okay? But it raised expectations for your team, right? And then you brought up what just happened with Doc Rivers. That also puts some pressure on your franchise because you saw what the Bucks did. They had a first-year head coach, and they got halfway through, and they just said, no. Okay?
With Bud, they won a championship 2 years ago with Bud, then they go and do this?
Okay, and they reach for Doc, and I love Doc, too. I don't know if that's going to work either because, to Richard's point, in the end, it comes out to how good are those players and how do they mesh. I don't want to be a hypocrite about this because going into this year, I really liked the Lakers a lot because I thought they got a little better in the offseason. I thought that Rob Pelinka did a very good job, a great job last year at the trade deadline and a very good job in this offseason, but we still haven't seen Gabe Vincent at all, and he finally had to have some knee scope. And I'm telling you, he would help their rotation a lot because he can shoot it. But what's troubling to me is the lack of defense because it's quit defense. It's give up defense where I'm looking at this. Check this one out. The Los Angeles Lakers, who in the bubble year led the league in defense, they are now averaging 14 3-point makes a game. Think about that. That is dead last in the NBA. So every night your opponent is going to average making 14 threes. Help me with the math. It's hard to overcome it. It's 42 points that they're going to get because I watch night after night like you guys do, and I see nobody guarding anybody at the 3-point line. Like Trey Young last night was he was 6 out of 9 for 3, and he's not that great a 3-point shooter, but if you just dare him to shoot like free throws from the 3-point line, he's going to make them. And then we had the incident before the game with Christian Wood. I like Christian Wood as a player, but Darvin apparently doesn't love him, and he's been in and out of the lineup, mostly out, and his minutes have been reduced. And so last night, there's no Anthony Davis. I don't know if you guys followed this, but 30 minutes before the game when the lineups came out, Christian Wood was not in the starting lineup for AD. Jackson Hayes was. And so Christian goes to his locker and tweets, this is like a half hour before the game, LOL. That's all, just LOL. And then he said after the game, well, it was an accident. I was going to put another quote in there, and then I accidentally hit send, and then the game was about to start, and I had to go. And
how about don't touch your phone at all?
How about it? How about don't touch your phone? Okay, but this is a half hour. And it came off as a sign of disrespect, like a mutinous sign of disrespect for Darvin. So it feels like it's teetering upon he's losing the team because coaching to me, and Richard talked about the motivation angle that was supposedly Darvin's strength. it first translates into defense, because defense, as you guys know, it's just effort. There's not a whole lot of strategy going on like there is in football, in basketball. A lot of it's just do you feel like it? Do you want to play it or not? Do you want to get up into people or not? You want to get your hand up or not?
But Skip, this is now though when LeBron has to become LeBron inside the locker room.
Yeah.
And let everybody know and put everybody on notice as the / general manager that if you don't get your you-know-what together and stop doing these sort of things, then you could potentially be on the move. He's got to do that. And I wouldn't be shocked or surprised in the next several days that that's not the case, where we hear LeBron let everybody know that that is not acceptable, because you will undermine the people on the sideline as the head coach and his staff.
Yeah, exactly. So
but I also don't see that like working, because we can talk about we just aren't making shots too, okay? And that's the frustrating part. It doesn't matter how good LeBron wants to motivate these guys, they're not making shots. Like, they're not making open shots. They're not driving.
He motivated them during the tournament though, Richard. Yeah. By talking about the economics, they got motivated. But the money that they can make.
It wasn't like he's not trying to motivate them now. Like, that's the part that's frustrating for me. It's not like he's going out there like, hey, now the tournament's over, y'all good. Like, mail it in, y'all just whatever. It's whatever. I'm sure he's frustrated and going in there like, come on, bro, step it up. Like, give me some better effort, and they're not. And that's why I'm like, I don't think people are going to change that. I don't think you bring in Trae Young or anybody for that matter that's going to come in and change the culture, because the guys just don't care. And that's what it looks like when you watch them. That's why it's hard to watch the Lakers. You laughed at me yesterday when I said I'd rather watch Smush Parker and Kwame Brown, because at least I didn't have expectations. They were super low. I go into those games thinking we're going to lose. I'd be surprised if we win. I go in these games thinking we're a talented team. We should beat these teams. And I leave disappointed every single night.
You're probably the only Laker fan that want to watch them play basketball. You're probably the only one.
Right now? Shit,
but Keyshawn,
we might as well be watching them now.
I mean, come on, man.
No, there is no point to that. Come on, dude.
Hey,
we said the
Keyshawn.
same thing a month ago, and then they started a nice little run. And now we back to that same conversation again?
Keyshawn, think about this.
Key, they didn't.
Go ahead.
They didn't have a nice run. They're still under 500. They were 4 games over 500 after the tournament. And we haven't really got 4 games over 500 since. So it's not a nice little run. I mean,
they had a nice little run. Right after the tournament, they started to struggle. Then we started talking about, the coach and this and that. And or is he losing the locker room? Then they had a nice little, I don't know how many games it was, nice little run. And now we back to that conversation again about whether or not they should move on from Darvin Ham, especially we're up against the All-Star break coming here soon. And you would naturally think, Skip, that's when they would make a coaching move. But again, who do you go get? Who are you getting?
I don't know, unless you elevate up Phil Handy who LeBron loves him, but he's been around forever, just to see if he could muddle through the rest of the year. I don't know. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they have somebody that they've picked out. I do think that Doc Rivers is going to put some pressure on Jeannie Buss that she didn't have before, because it's like the league is looking at the Lakers like, wait a second, you're 24-25? We're 49 games in? Keyshawn, even you would admit that's just wrong, right? There's something really wrong with that picture, 24-25.
I would admit that they are a struggling basketball team, and you thought coming into the season that they would be better at this point. No, given the fact that you mentioned that Gabe Vincent come over from Miami would obviously help us out. We bring in those pieces back from the Western Conference Final. That would be okay. AD has grown and learned since Lil Wayne wanted to trade him. He got better.
He did.
All of those sort of things you would think that they would be better. But I am not of the panic mode based on where they were at last year in the same sort of spot. And then they wind up in the Western Conference Final, as you said. So why go into panic now?
I don't remember it ever getting this bad last year. Maybe I'm forgetting.
It was ugly.
Got this bad.
Yeah, it was ugly. That's why they went and did all the trading and moving pieces around.
Okay,
because it was ugly.
So I'm going to hit the low points again. They lost by 44 at Philly, by 23 at Oklahoma City. Then they bounced back and beat Oklahoma City twice. So as LeBron said after the game, We are capable of beating any team in the league, and we are capable of losing to any team in the league. And that's what we've roller coastered through this year, because they bounced back and beat Oklahoma City twice. They beat the Clippers, but the Clippers are playing at a very high level. And then all of a sudden, Brooklyn comes here and beats them at home by 18. And I'm like, what was that? Then they go up to Golden State on Saturday night, and they win in double overtime. But it took a lot of points. It took 145 points to Golden State's 144 points. So there was little to no defense played. It was a shootout, and LeBron won the shootout. So good for them. And then they turn right around and go to Houston and get embarrassed to the point they got bullied by the Houston Rockets. They got pushed around and bullied, and turn right around and go to Atlanta before a packed house. It's LeBron's one big trip to Atlanta. And you know how it's like a festival there, and nobody shows up. LeBron played okay, he just missed his free throws. But you would think this team is good enough to beat the 20-27 Atlanta Hawks, and they weren't in the game from tip. Atlanta just took the game over.
But it's like, I feel you, Key, because we did go from the 10th seed or 9th seed, whatever it was, to play in and make our way to the Western Conference Finals, and that was great. That was fantastic, but you can't expect that every year.
No, I don't want to do it again. I don't want to do that again.
That's the thing. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to sit there and be sitting there on the edge of my seat like, why can't we just win a couple in a row? And that's what I'm saying. Like, you're saying we went on a run. We never went on a run of 3-4 wins in a row. And that's what they need to do, because we'd be over 500 at this point. But they keep 1 win, 2 losses. 2 wins, 2 losses, 3 losses, a win, and it's like, my goodness, and it's bad losses. It's not even, some of these games they're not even competitive in, and you're like, bro, we are too talented of a team. And I know Skip's like, Gabe Vincent is going to come save the day. Gabe Vincent was not playing well when he was playing for the Lakers. I think he's made 1 3 in a Lakers jersey out of 15 attempts or 16 attempts, something crazy like that. Just like everybody else, you put a Lakers jersey on, you forget how to shoot. Gabe Vincent was great for the Miami Heat. Put a Lakers jersey on, his shooting percentage goes down tremendously. But what's the answer? I don't know, because if you can't go out there and do the things that take no talent, it's hard to find answers. Like, if you can't do the fundamental things right, you can't, hey, we're going to give effort, have a great attitude, execute the scheme. If you can execute, have good effort, you're going to have a chance in just about every game. But if you can't execute and your effort is bad, it's hard to fix the rest of it.
Getting the AD back healthy is going to help. It just is. And I know he's been on the floor in some of these crucial losses when you start talking about Philadelphia and some of those other teams. But getting him back on the floor is certainly going to help the pain. It is. He's too good of a player to not help.
Yeah. So, Keyshawn, I'm with you. I don't want to see Darvin get fired. That doesn't feel right, because he's accomplished too much in a fairly short span. But this run right now feels wrong to me, and it just feels like as we approach February 14th, Valentine's Day, that's the last game they have before that break, the expectations were so high off the in-season tournament, it just feels like, with LeBron doing his passive-aggressive GMing, where he posts the hourglass, where the time it's either run out or almost run out. You think it's almost, but
I'm looking at it. There's some sand in it.
It looks run out to me, but whatever. The point is that the pressure is increasing on something to change. And to Richard's point, there's only one way you can change this, and that's to change coaches.
Well, I know for one, the pressure. LeBron isn't saying that I'm not opting in. That's not what he's saying here, okay? Because his contract allows him to make a decision at the end of the season on whether or not he wants to continue to be a Laker. I'm not worried about that. He's going to finish up being a Laker, because that's just, he knows that's good business. So when you look at that from that standpoint, he's talking about the team in the position that they in if they don't get things turned around. Nor do I, you can help me out with this as far as Jeannie Buss goes. I don't remember her ever making an in-season
she doesn't do it.
Coaching change. I don't remember. Now, her dad, that's a different story. I don't remember Jeannie ever having to do that.
Not her style.
Not her style.
Unless this has really gone beyond repair in her eyes. So
how could it be gone beyond repair? They're only one game from 500. That's it. It's not like they 9 games.
Okay, think about this. Last 4 games, they have allowed an average of 137 points a game. Trust me, that ain't Lakers.
No,
that's
bad
unacceptable.
defense.
Yeah. All right, we got to talk some Cowboys because Jerry Jones finally spoke for the first time after that nightmare Green Bay loss. This was at the Senior Bowl yesterday, and I have no idea what he was talking about. Could you please translate for me next? Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.